condolences to Ambassador Jim Kelly, wife and daughter Orla and Ciara, and to commend the Foreign Affairs Office for the work that they are doing in Ukraine. My issue is the fast-track problem passports. There are genuine circumstances where non-standard applications are leading to huge delays, causing stress and anxiety.
Thanks, Deputy Minister.
Yeah, thanks, Deputy. And thank you for this question. It's useful to put it on the record. There are a number of channels available to deputies to flag issues that their constituents are having with passport applications. And the main issue that's driving pressure at the moment is just the sheer volume of applications. It's just off the charts in terms of anything else we've ever experienced in recent years. We've had 3 months in a row now of record application numbers, as in the highest ever. I think it was 137,000 in January. I think it was 150-something thousand in February, and already it's well over. It'll certainly be over 100,000 in March. And you know, in any previous year, we hadn't gone over 100,000 in a month. So we are. That's what's driving the pressure. And for the most part, it's actually working reasonably well. People getting renewals. For straightforward adult passport renewals, they're getting their passport back in most cases within 48 hours. But obviously for other more complicated cases, it's different, and we do need to have a system that can allow our Oireachtas members to intervene when necessary. So in response to the high volumes of applications being submitted to the Passport Office, a temporary phone line was established in October last year to respond to members' queries on urgent cases. That was supposed to be temporary until the end of the year, but it's very much continuing now, obviously. This phone line responded to over 2,700 queries in 2021 and has already handled over 3,600 queries to date in 2022. In addition to this, the Passport Service responds to a high volume of written parliamentary questions from deputies regarding specific applications. In each case raised by the deputy, the Passport Service reviews the application in question. However, applications can be expedited in cases of genuine emergencies, such as a need for urgent medical treatment overseas or the death of a family member. Such applications are expedited through the Travel Emergency Service. In cases where the estimated issue date has passed and the application is fully complete, the Passport Service will prioritise the application to ensure no further delay is experienced.
Thanks, Minister. My office is dealing with so many passports per week and find it more and more frustrating. I acknowledge that the online system works well when it's a straightforward renewal. However, the passports that I deal with is where the issues are. The urgent passport number will only tell us what we already know. And if you apply for a passport where there is an emergency, there is no intercepting the passport. So, again, when we do get to a point where we can get a passport to where we want, to intercept that passport, you're given a line, you're given a number, and you're saying it will be out to within 2 days. And the problem is that you might need an emergency passport, that you need collection, you need it now. And the problem we're getting is that if the contact between the politicians and the Passport Office is the phone lines are constantly busy. And I understand you're saying the amount of applications are there. So again, it goes back to, can we fast track where politicians can actually contact a certain number and get a response?
Yeah. So
can you at least change the music on the telephone line? Would be a request from my office, because we spend so much time listening to it. Anyway, Minister, sorry for interrupting you.
You might give us some suggested music.
Absolutely, happy to do that.
We're always open to suggestions to improve the passport experience. No, look, actually this week there's been very high volumes, and my understanding is that the wait on the phones has been longer than normal. And we're going to respond to that in terms of increasing resources accordingly. But that line is up and running. By the way, that line was never there before. People had to effectively look online to see the status of their passport application. We put in place a specific Oireachtas service that only Oireachtas offices can call into, but it is busy. Can I just say that a lot of the applications that are stuck in the system because there's a problem with the paperwork. And this, of course, is something that we need to solve as well, because the communications between the department, the Passport Service and applicants needs to improve so that we get a more consistent approach towards passport application. So if, for example, you look at applications that are in the system now for more than a month and are still in the system, 37% of them, that's 38,000 applications, are awaiting the applicant to provide further information. Okay. And often they're the applications that then get, that come to a minister's or a TD's office and so on. But we have to ensure the integrity of the system. We can't just fast track it because that's what people want. We have to make sure that we guard against fraud and that we have the paperwork intact.
Thanks, Minister. The Passport Express is very misleading as it takes 2 months. Why market it as an express? When there is an additional information required, why do you have to go back to day one? So you have an express system that's taken 2 months, and if there's a further clarification that needs to be made on the express, you're then going back to day one, so you have 2 months again. So an application could actually go on, and it's down as an express system. So if it's express and it's going to take 2 months, can the application be dealt with within the 2 months and not go back to day one again and start the application all over again? So again, I do understand that the massive amount of volumes of passports that you have, but again, maybe it's a resource problem that you need to address to get more resources so these issues can be dealt with faster. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just on the resourcing side, so we now have well over 770 staff members in the Passport Office. Just to give you a sense, that figure was about 450 last summer. So, and by the end of, well, certainly within the next 6 weeks or so, the numbers should be up to about 900. So we are effectively doubling the size of the Passport Office, staff-wise, over the last 6 or 8 months. In terms of the turnaround times, I mean, I totally agree with you. Passport Express is a bit of a misnomer. It is not an express service. It's a much slower service. It's a paper-based service based on post. And that is certainly an outdated marketing term now. And we are looking to move away from that terminology of Passport Express and to replace it with something else, whether it's passport in the post or whatever. Ultimately, we want to get to a point where everybody applies online. And by the way, 90% of applications are already online, over 90% now. We need to get to 100% because it's a much cleaner system, it's a more transparent system, it's a safer system, and it's a faster system. In terms of the results that we're delivering on the back of the increased resources, up until a few weeks ago, it was taking 40 working days for first-time applications on Passport Online. It's now down to 35 and falling. And the issue that you raise around a correction to a mistake in the application or whatever, starting the clock all over again in terms of turnaround times, we've also corrected that. So if someone has put their application in and their forms weren't filled out properly or whatever, and they have to send new forms in, they don't start an 8-week period at that point. They'll get a turnaround within 3 weeks of that correction. And so we are responding to the constructive criticism that we're getting from members of the House.
Okay, I allowed you